The Israeli military confirmed the attack, noting that several ballistic missiles were launched from Iranian territory and that were, rather, while some were intercepted by the Iron Dome defense system, others penetrated Israeli airspace and struck urban areas. Right back in Kenya, tragedy struck in Kwale County after two Kenya Defence Forces officers lost their lives in military training aircraft crash in Andavaya, Kinango sub-county. Now, the ill-fated aircraft, a Grob 120A, went down in Viramboni village in Davaya ward during what was reported to be a routine training mission. Preliminary reports suggest that plane experienced mechanical failure mid-air before crashing. Confirming the incident, Kwale County Commissioner Steve Orinde stated that a full investigation is currently underway to determine the exact cause of the crash. He expressed condolences to the families of the fallen soldiers and assured the public that the Kenya Defence Forces and other relevant authorities are committed to uncovering the facts behind the tragic incident. The Grob 120A is commonly used by KDF for pilot training exercises and is generally considered reliable. However, this latest accident raises questions about safety protocols and maintenance standards of military training aircraft. Right, quite a tragic story right there. Our condolences to the family and friends. Moving on, newly released CCTV footage has revealed that police officers responsible for taking the late Albert Ojwang to Mbagathi Hospital showed a lack of an urgency, contradicting official claims that he was rushed from Central Police Station with critical injuries requiring emergency care. The video evidence confirms that the officers took over 20 minutes to transport Ojwang to the hospital's emergency room. Upon arrival, medical staff immediately confirmed that Ojwang had already passed away before reaching the facility. The police had earlier stated that Ojwang left Central Police Station with injuries severe enough to warrant urgent hospital treatment. However, the footage raises concerns about the delay and the true nature of response by the law enforcement officers involved. Right, at the same time, church leaders in Mombasa have called for the immediate resignation and prosecution of all police officers implicated in the death of social media influencer Albert Ojwang, who died while in police custody at the Central Police Station in Nairobi. The Mombasa Pastor Fellowship, that is the MPF, a coalition of evangelical and Pentecostal churches, made the appeal during a press conference, expressing outrage over what they termed as cold-blooded killing of a young man whose only alleged offense was exercising his constitutional right to free expression. Led by MPF Chairman Reverend Peter Onyango, the religious leaders called for an independent, speedy and transparent investigation into Ojwang's death, warning against any attempt to shield the culprits from justice.
The press statement by the Mombasa Pastors Fellowship on intolerance, abductions and killings of innocent citizens on this day of June 12th, 2025. We, the Mombasa Pastors Fellowship, a body comprising of different Protestant churches, mainly the evangelicals and Pentecostals, in solemn unity and moral conviction, speak out today with heavy hearts and righteous indignation over the recent wave of intolerance, abductions, and extrajudicial killings in our nation. Most grievously, we are deeply shaken by the tragic killing of a young man, Albert Ojwang, by law enforcement agents. His only offense being a bold and peaceful expression of his opinion online, a right guaranteed by our Constitution and upheld by all free and just societies. His death is not just an attempt at silencing one voice, but a chilling message sent to an entire generation on striving for justice, accountability, and good governance. May God grant Albert Ojwang's family the grace, consolation, and peace they need at this very difficult moment. May his soul rest in eternal peace. We condemn in the strongest terms the growing patterns of repression against young people who speak out against corruption, injustice, and poor leadership. These young men and women are not enemies of the state. They are its hope, because some of the things they are pointing out may help us and the executive to make changes. When those entrusted with protecting the life become instruments of fear and death, we must all rise and say no. We say no in the strongest terms.
No.
Bishops, we say no in the strongest terms. No. As religious leaders, we are compelled by our faith and conscience to speak out in defense of the oppressed. We are the gatekeepers, and we shall not remain silent to speak on behalf of those who cannot be heard.
Right at the same time, Pentecostal Voice of Kenya has strongly condemned the brutal killing of Albert Ojwang while in police custody, describing it as a deeply distressing reminder of ongoing struggle against extrajudicial killings carried out by security agencies in the country. In a statement to the media, PVK demanded urgent action from the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, that is the IPOA, and other relevant bodies to expedite investigations into Ojwang's death. The charge emphasized the critical importance of justice and accountability, urging that all those responsible be arrested and prosecuted to ensure the family receives justice for their loved one. PVK's condemnation adds to the growing calls for civil society and human rights organizations demanding transparency and swift legal processes in cases involving police misconduct.
Also demands that the government enacts and implements comprehensive statutory and policy reforms in the security sector that will put an end to these extrajudicial killings once and for all, and uphold the sanctity of human life. It is only by doing so that we will start to heal as a society and ensure sustained peace and stability in our country. We commend the Kenyan people, especially the Gen Zs, for being resolute and steadfast in agitating for our rights and demanding for accountability. However, as we do so, we urge all of us to maintain the peace and guard against rogue elements looking to take advantage to cause mayhem, chaos, and
Right, moving on, the Council of Elders of the Luo community in Nairobi has strongly condemned the increasing incidents of kidnappings and killings targeting young people, describing the trend as a serious threat to the society. The elders expressed deep sorrow over the death of Albert Ojwang and others, calling for justice to be served and urgent measures to prevent similar occurrences in the future. In a statement, the elders urged for calm and unity among Kenyans, emphasizing the critical need for citizens to remain peaceful and safeguard the nation's future. They highlighted the emotional pain inflicted on communities by such violent acts and stressed that immediate action is necessary to restore security.
We are standing firm and calling upon the investigating authorities and the government to bring this matter to an end, because it is now too much. And when we lose these young people, where is our future and the future of the country Kenya?
Yet what he's doing. But we are asking ourselves as Luos, after Raila, who will take over? Because those who take over, when they reach a certain stage, they die. Mbubayin died, Musando died, Uko died, Oya died, right? Now Ojwang also died. And this is the group which we feel may take over the mantle from Raila Odinga to lead us to a certain level.
Right, a massive fire broke out early today in the Barnabas area, just a few kilometers from Nakuru town, following the explosion of a fuel tanker on the busy Nakuru-Nairobi highway. The blaze quickly spread, engulfing several vehicles parked nearby, and causing extensive destruction. The fire consumed 2 fuel tanks and 2 cargo trucks, one of which was carrying timber. Emergency response teams arrived promptly at the scene and worked swiftly to contain the intense fire. Fortunately, no injuries or fatalities have been reported so far. Authorities are urging motorists to avoid the affected area and use alternative routes while cleanup operations continue. The exact cause of the explosion is still under investigation, with security and emergency personnel remain on site to manage the situation and ensure public safety.
Imeanza saa 8 kama na dakika 5 hapo. So na saa hii ni saa 11 inaelekea, na tunashukuru sababu hata kama tukunaendelea hapa na pale moto imezima, na tunashukuru sana.
Kweli sisi wakazi tujui nini ilianza, lakini kuliungua, kukachomeka malori, watu wakaungua.
Moto huu ulianza mida ya saa 8 ya usiku, na wakati tulipigiwa simu tulikuta imeanza kushika magari mengine. Ilianza kwa gari moja la mafuta na ikasambaa kwa hizo magari mengine yote 5. Tumejaribu kuzima, tumesaidiwa na mashirika mengine, kama tulikuwa na kitengo cha wanajeshi, tulikuwa na watu wa pipeline na pia watu wa comply. Moto ulikuwa mkubwa sana, lakini tuliweza kudhibiti vizuri kabisa. Majeraha ambayo yametokea baada ya moto kuzima, pakawa na watu wachache wanataka kufyonza mafuta kwenye gari, na mmoja wao amepata majeraha, lakini si mabaya sana. Polisi wamedhibiti eneo na kila kitu iko shwari.
Now, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has issued a stern warning to violent protesters who take advantage of demonstrations to loot and vandalize property in the capital. Speaking during a public event, Sakaja declared that the chaos witnessed during recent protests caught him off guard and dared the protesters to try that again. He emphasized that while peaceful protest is a constitutional right, criminal activity disguised as activism will not be tolerated under his watch. However, Sakaja also took a moment to address the recent outcry surrounding the death of Albert Ojwang, a man who died while in police custody. The governor strongly condemned the incident, calling it a tragic injustice and demanding accountability. In a show of solidarity and compassion, Sakaja announced that he will personally support Ojwang's family, pledging to assist in funeral arrangements. Additionally, he committed to offering a job to Ojwang's widow as a way of helping the grieving family cope with the sudden loss.
Mnajua Nairobi kulikuwa na maneno kidogo juzi. Mnajua yule kijana ambaye aliuliwa, na ni jambo mbaya sana. Na tulikashifu. Na mimi niliita familia yake. Huyo kijana alikuwa anafanya kazi kwa timu yangu. Nikamuita babake, mama yake, bibi yake, na kuna mtoto mdogo wa miaka 3 anaitwa George Miles. Ile uchungu that wazazi wake walikuwa nayo na wako nayo, ndo nikawaambia hata wasigaramie mambo ya mazishi, yote mimi nitalipa, na ile Wakenya wanachanga iende kwa account ambayo itasaidia mtoto kule mbele. Si ni sawa hivyo? Bibi yake nikampatia kazi Nairobi na kumlipia school fees yake, ili mtoto wake akue anapata hizo siku za usoni awe sawa. Na tayari pia nimemtafutia nyumba kule Nairobi, nyumba ya county government. Baba yake tunamtafutia plot kule Homa Bay, nimjengee nyumba za kukodisha. Kwa sababu walikuwa wameinvest kwa mtoto wake kwa miaka 20. Si ni kweli? Na zaidi, na alijua itarudi. Hata kama tuko na hasira na uchungu, na nilifurahi nimeona rais wetu alitoa ujumbe na taarifa kusema kwamba investigation itafanyika kikamilifu ili tuwe na haki. Lakini hata kama kuna uchungu, haimaanishi mali ya wananchi iharibiwe Nairobi. That is not what it means. Vijana wangu wale jenzi wa Nairobi, wengi ambao wanaandamana wanakuja kwa amani, wanakuja bila vita. Watu na wanasiasa wawili ambao ndo wanaingia hapo katikati kuleta mchafuko Nairobi. Last week walinipata unawares. Warudi tena, wajaribu tena. We will protect the city, the capital city. Wasijaribu, yani si wanasema kuna siku wanakuja, wajaribu kugusa mali ya mtu yoyote, biashara ya mtu yoyote. Gari inachomwa kwa nini? gari ya mwananchi yani hajafanya jambo lolote. Gari yako umetoka umeenda town, unapata ati gari yako imechomwa. Duka yako imevunjwa. Zile street lights, zile dustbin, zile kabro sio zangu. Ni za wananchi wa Kenya. Ni taxpayers. Nikubali hiyo maneno iendelee? Siwezi kubali. Na mtajua mko na governor Nairobi. Utakuwa na utulivu, utakuwa na amani katika mji wetu.
Right at the same time, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has lashed out at the opposition for what he described as their continued attempts to undermine government efforts aimed at transforming the country. Speaking during a fundraising event for women in the Rift Valley, Sakaja accused opposition leaders of deliberately rejecting every development initiative rolled out by the government, including the flagship affordable housing program. The governor expressed concern that despite the visible progress being made across various sectors, the opposition remains focused on criticizing instead of offering constructive alternatives. He termed the opposition's actions as self-driven by selfish interest, arguing that the agenda is more about political positioning than national welfare.
Ile kitu nitasema ni kwamba we will continue uplifting our people. Wale ambao wanalalamika na yawahusu, please mind your own business. Hapa kuna mama ambaye atafaidika leo. Kuna biashara ambayo itafufuliwa leo. Si ni kweli? So wewe na utajiri yako na uchoyo wako inakuhusu nini mwananchi wa kawaida akisaidiwa? You cannot be such an evil person. Na watu kulalamika kwao hakuishangi. Juzi kule Nairobi tumefungua na rais nyumba 1000. Rais amejengea wananchi wa kawaida maskini ambayo wanaishi kwa slum, bali hakuna maji, hakuna siwa, ama wapatia manyumba, nyumba iko na maji moto ndani, nyumba iko na choo ndani, ama wapatia furniture, viti, vitanda, tumewekea hapo hospitali na shule, alafu mtu tajiri analalamika. Si ashindwe? Wewe kwako uko na choo kama 4-5, mwananchi wa kawaida anakaa kwa kitongoji hana. Ile siku wanapata, unauliza ati nani aliambia Ruto tunataka nyumba? Si wewe unajengewa nyumba. Ni wale wananchi ambao wanahitaji. So sisi tutaendelea kusaidia wananchi wetu. We will keep.
Now, residents of Isiolo County have voiced strong opposition to the move by members of County Assembly to table an impeachment motion against Governor Abdi Kuyu, accusing the ward representatives of acting without proper public consultation. Speaking during a reconciliation meeting held with community elders, concerned locals criticized the MCAs for rushing the process without seeking the views of the people they represent. They warned that such action risks plunging the country into unnecessary political turmoil and instability. The residents emphasized the need for unity and open dialogue among elected elders, urging Governor Kuyu and the MCAs to prioritize the interest of people over political differences. The call for calm comes amid heightened political tensions following the tabling of the impeachment notice.
Nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya hii mazungumzo ambayo imeandaliwa na wazee wetu wa Isiolo, na ninajua kwamba kuna kitu tunaona na kuna kitu tumesikia. Kama jamii tumekuja pamoja kwa sababu nimetoka katika jamii ya Wasamburu. Kuna msemo inasema mikiareti kimbarichere, usiniue kabla hujaniuliza kitu. Hiyo ni methali ambayo yuko kwetu. Kwa hivyo yale tunaona MCS wetu wanataka kufanyia governor, tafadhali msimuchape, msimudhulumu kabla hamjamuuliza kitu. Mtu huitwa na anaulizwa, mnahusisha jamii. Nafikiri sisi ndio number 1 katika Kenya nzima. Sisi ndio namba 1 kwa AJS. Sisi ndio tumeanzisha hii platform ya alternative justice system. Kwa hivyo tuko na hiyo maarifa ya kuweza kuketisha watu waliokosana, watu ambayo hawafikiani, watu ambayo wanapitana. Tunaweza sikiza, tuseme huyu fanya hivi, wewe fanya hivi. Kwa hivyo
Right now, let's get sporting. Football fans are gearing up for an electrifying finale of Viga Queens. Prepare to take on Kibra Soccer Women FC in the FKF Women's Cups final scheduled for Sunday, June 29th at the historic Afra Stadium in Nakuru. Anticipation is building around the much-awaited clash with which promises thrilling football action and a celebration of the rising standards in women's football in Kenya. The final will bring together two of the country's most competitive sides, each determined to lift the coveted national trophy. In a symbolic gesture of readiness and pride, the FKF Women's Cup trophy was officially unveiled on Friday. The ceremony was graced by key football and sports development stakeholders, including FKF Women Representative Kerubo Mumanyi, Raquel Puig, and who's the head of the Corporate Social Responsibility and Sports Development at Bet Power, the FKF General Secretary and CEO Harold Ndege.
The impact of having players get their money directly, not through any second or third channels, has been very, very immense. And the players have voiced this to me. The teams have told me this directly. So I'm very grateful for that. Our role as an administration, of course, is to strengthen and to empower and to grow the game, and to strengthen our athletes and to empower them. So I really hope going forward we will have more and more areas of collaboration. But I'm very, very grateful to Bet Power for the opportunity they've accorded FKF, and I really hope we will have more and more areas of collaborations in future.
With you, we would like to officially hand over the trophy for the Women's Cup. We know that some of our women are currently playing in Tanzania. I would like to take the opportunity as well to wish them good luck, because the locker room bonus doesn't only affect this competition, it supports also the national team, the national women's team, which are competing right now. Locker room bonus is supporting the Women's Cup. We hope that this has been impactful in the federation as well and on the young players, and that it inspires new generations.
It's a pleasure to be here as we officially hand over the FKF Women's Cup trophy to our partners.
Now, the Harambee Starlets have intensified their preparations ahead of their highly anticipated opening match against Burundi in the Sekafa Women's Championship. The national women's football team is focused on delivering a strong performance to kick off their campaign on a winning note. Inclusive interviews with key players shared their thoughts and readiness for the tournament. Midfielder Medina Abubakar expressed confidence in the team's ability to compete at the highest level, highlighting the rigorous training sessions and the team's strong unity. Defender Vivian Nasaka echoed similar sentiments, emphasizing the team's defensive strategies and determination to keep a clean sheet against Burundi.
Training imekuwa poa sana. Tuko well prepared kuface hizo game ziko game za Sekafa. Naweza sema I'm very proud of myself and nashukuru kwa hiyo opportunity nimepata. Nitaweza kulana lot kutoka kwa coach, ma players na kila mtu. So I'm happy.
Okay, tumekuwa hapa for 2 days now. Training imekuwa poa. Kila mtu amejipush na mimi na feel kila mtu ako ready because hii tizi tumekuwa nayo ya mwisho, kila mtu amejisukuma na feel tuko sawa na tuko ready for the tournament.
Right, it is exactly 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Many thanks for, of course, keeping me company here on EBN Weekend Edition. My name is Macharia. I want to sample some of your feedback on Facebook. Blessing Wayua says is tuned in. Sami M, following from Sabaki. Kennedy Jumba Sirigwa says he is watching Mika. David Njue, and of course Karen, many thanks for making time to be with us here on the program. My name is Macharia, signing off. Do have yourself a lovely night. Remember to go to church tomorrow, and as always, let's do this again when God says we do.